Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny. We welcome you back to Relentless and Unstoppable with myself and my coach and mentor, actor Andy McPhee. And today we have our friend Mark Gantt with us. Hey Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so honored to be here to be a part of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you, Mark, and it's an honor to be working with Doug for over 6.5 years and see his transformation being relentless and unstoppable and saying that he's possible, not impossible, and that's what this is all about. And just a quick thing for people watching, Mark and myself met. I try to keep it as young as I possibly could 12 years ago, but he said, no, it's way longer than that, Andy. You weren't that grey when we met you. You had more hair. It was probably 15 years ago. So we met at the Beverly Hills Playhouse under the awesome mentoring of Milton Casalis, who I really loved. Like, that guy was just so cool. Yeah. And Mark and me, we just met there. We actually also met, I forgot to tell you, Mark, Jerry Trimble's been on our program heaps of times.
Oh, wow. I love him.
He's coaching Doug in fighting and mentoring. He's been on our anti-bullying. So through the Beverly Hills Playhouse, it's flipping awesome, mate.
Like, oh, that's really great. Oh, that's great. I love Jerry.
He's an awesome dude, man, like yourself. So, look, we want to learn a little bit about you and your journey. So I'll hand it over to Doug and we'll get this amazing story underway, mate.
Thank you.
So, yeah, Mark, I've heard some pretty good things about you. What have you been accomplishing lately?
Well, lately I've been focusing primarily on writing, directing, and producing, and as well as coaching, consulting other actors, writers, and directors to help them along with their career. I would say the last couple of years, the last 2 to 3 years, I've been really fortunate to be able to direct feature films that have premiered on Lifetime. I've directed branded commercials for GMC, for Freeform, for Cole, for Fox. I've been writing screenplays for The Cartel, which is a production company that does films for Lifetime and Hallmark, and as well as developing my own projects that I'm a writer and showrunner potentially for. I'm a guy that, I started out, doing all kinds of stuff on set, and then, moved into acting, and then started writing and directing. And now my focus right now is primarily writing and directing. And I'm up for I just signed a deal to direct this really cool horror film that I'm going to be starting in a couple weeks, start prepping. And, I've got a couple Audible projects that I was a writer and producer on that are coming out, docuseries about some true crime stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been up to recently.
That's really cool. Didn't you create a musical video too?
Yeah, I've been doing some musical videos as well. And, I've done some recently. One of the ones that, Andy was a big part of. We're doing the Kiefer Sutherland series of videos for his new album that's coming out. So that was really cool. And I just finished one for Maisie Starr, who's a big UK pop singer. So that's going to be on the Kelly Clarkson show next month. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And, in the middle of my coaching sessions at the moment, I've got a couple of international Zoom intensives going. And that's the first thing I tell people, like actors, that don't just concentrate on being an actor, concentrate on the whole world of creative arts, and including your own life as well.
Right.
When you balance all of that, you'll be amazed what really happens. And yes, of course, you want to be an actor if that's what you're training for. But no, and I'm going to say and train yourself in other areas because you never know. You exactly what you said, directing, writing. I'm sure that when you went to the Beverly Hills Playhouse many years ago, you just want to be an actor.
Yeah, I mean, I came there as an actor, and there was always a part of me that, felt like maybe there was other things for me. But as I was there, I started to assist Milton Casalis, and so I started seeing, oh wow, this is what a director does, and this is what a writer does, and as a producer, how to create stuff, and so that was sort of my first foray into that, and I was like, oh wow, all these different things, and just what you were saying, as an actor, sometimes, I think that we can fall into a trap of trying to book a job, we study and then we try to book a job. And in between there is just like the struggle, like how do I get there? And and to me, that in between the study and the booking and the job is life and its experience and its depth and it's all the range of emotions and all the things that we can bring to our artistic, job. And so, I always think that, and I struggled with it because I was like, just like hustle, book a job, and forgetting that I was supposed to have fun and enjoy my life and enjoy the journey and enjoy the so-called failures, and see them as lessons and not, losses. But, so I also think that a lot of people, forget that there's all these opportunities to learn about the craft of acting by being on set, by doing a play, by, creating your own projects to understand like, oh, that's what it's like when I'm walking up and looking at this. Oh, that's what that looks like when the camera's here. Oh, wait, the camera back and shooting something to realize, oh, wait, I messed it all up. I need to put the camera here and there's this and, and to take those risks and have fun.
Yeah, that's so true. And I'm going to say something about that, but I'll point back to Doug. Doug, when we met 7 years ago, I was coaching his brother for acting. That ended. His brother wasn't interested anymore. And Doug asked his mum, because Doug has been dealing with high functioning autism since he was born and went through a lot of struggles of bullying and overweight, etc., etc. Doug, very quickly now, we're about to commence writing his book on his journey of diet, fitness, going from 300 plus pounds to now down to about 200 pound fitness, riding, hiking, all that. So Doug never thought when we coached it was going to end up like this. Him being the co-host, the creator of all those little logos you see behind us, websites. We've got 5 platforms running. A lot of them all just fun. This one's fun, but it's also serious and about inspiring people and helping people. So Doug and myself never, ever thought we would be doing this together. And he's created through a suggestion that, came up with to start his own business because he doesn't want to work in the workforce. He finds it a little difficult. And now he's got 4 customers doing logos and websites. A lady I work with on Criminal Minds, a wonderful actress, she's there. He's now helping her build her coaching. So we never know where we're going to end up, but you've got to keep going through the doors.
Yeah, that's awesome, Doug. Congrats.
I appreciate it. And a lot of the doors that have opened up for me came, a lot of which, because a year ago I made my decision to quit my longtime addiction to soda and sugar. And all this would not have happened without that happening. And so now I'm going to ask you, you dealt with a severe addiction to alcohol, which really is tough. What was that like?
Yeah, I started, I got to say that, like the addiction to alcohol started when I was around 15. And, my parents are not alcoholics. They don't drink. I mean, they barely drink. But my grandparents on both sides are alcoholics. We're alcoholics. I had uncles and aunts that were alcoholics. And so throughout my childhood, I was around alcoholism and I was around sober alcoholics, people that were getting sober. My grandparents on my mom's side got sober. And, but I can actually trace back sort of addiction to, when I had my first paper out when I was 10 years old, I would collect the money every month to, pay my bill, the bill that I would have to pay for the newspapers. And then whatever was left over was like my profit, let's say it was like $24 a month. And I would then spend the $24 way before, or the money that I was due on the bill before it was due. And I was basically like a credit card. I would just basically collect more money in advance for a couple of months from other people so that I could then pay this thing. I'd have to borrow money from my parents. And so there was an addiction to, like a escape. I wanted the money so that I could eat. I wanted the money so I could get candy, so I could play video games, so I could, do things with my friends that were cool, things that people wanted to do. I would steal things because I, wanted to be cool and in the fit in the crowd, and sell gum at like 8 years old and stuff at school. So like that was like I can go back to addiction to, a very early age. And part of it was, it's just this not feeling enough. Like I just never felt enough. I never felt like I fit in. You know, I had very loving parents, but you know, it's sometimes, you know, it's not about, it's just sort of in your DNA. It's not necessarily about, you know, sort of your upbringing. And so for me, you know, when 15 came around, I was working at a yogurt place, and this older kid from my high school came in, and he's like, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. He was trying to get some free yogurt. He had some beers. Next thing I know, I'm like drinking my first beer in the back room thinking, holy cow, I've arrived. Like, I'm cool. This older guy wants to hang out with me. This older kid, like I think he was probably a junior. And it just progressed. It was just something like I felt when I drank, I felt, you know, good enough, that I was cool, that I was funny, that I was, you know, sexy, handsome, all those things I did not feel, you know, without alcohol, without drugs, without food, without, you know, sort of, you know, always trying to date somebody, trying to get some attention, love, affection, you know, all of it, you know. And so from 15 and 19, I'll make the story quick. I just, you know, I drank, you know, in the beginning, it was just on the weekends, you know, like partying with friends, but, you know, I didn't drink like everybody else. Like people have a couple beers, they get drunk and they decide, oh, I got to stop and go home. I was like, what? No, just keep going until you throw up, or till you get blackout, or till you wreck a car. Or like, that was just, you know, I just could never get enough. And then I started, you know, when I was 18, 19 years old, I started doing drugs, because it was like, I wanted to do cocaine because I could drink more. That was really why I did drugs. Like, I just wanted to be able to drink more and, you know, keep that going. And, you know, 7 cars, you know, I wrecked 7 cars during that time from 16 to 19. And I was at work, and I was doing construction at the time I graduated from high school. And I was, you know, I was drunk, I was high, and I dropped a saw from a second floor roof, and, you know, just missed somebody by 5-6 feet. And that was like a really wake up call for me. Like, oh, wow. Like I don't have, you know, control over this, because I wasn't planning on drinking that day. And I tried to stop all the time. Okay, today I'm not going to drink. Today I'm just not going to do it. And so my boss at the time said, you know, you really need to get help. And, you know, there was that sort of moment of like the walls are sort of, you know, closing in on me. And I didn't really think I had a problem as much as I didn't have any other solution. And so I said, yes, I need help. And saying, yes, I need help, you know, sort of was just cracked door for me to get through, to say, you know, can I be willing to look at this? And I went to a rehab for 30 days. And on the 29th day, you know, I was going to go to a movie with a friend of mine. And I went to his house to go pick him up, and there was a beer on his dresser. And I thought, I'll just have one drink, just one drink. Like, you know, I'm a little parched. And so I had a little drink, and still a little parched, maybe just like a little sip. And I quickly finished that beer. And, you know, he said, let's just, you know, I'll meet you out in the car. So I got out in the car, and he walked out, and he had 2 beers in each hand for us. He handed me 2. And then we went and got some beer, and then we went to this party instead of going to a movie. And it was 8:00 in the morning when I was selling my watch for a line of cocaine. And I was like, wow, I can't just have one beer. I can't just have one sip. Like, it's just, I'm incapable of knowing what's going to happen if I have that first drink. And so I went to the rehab the next morning, and I confessed to drinking, and you know, and that was September 11th, 1988. And I haven't had a drink or a drug since. And so I just celebrated 33 years of sobriety. And I've also, you know, have 10 years of solvency from debt and under earning. And that was something that hit me much later in my sobriety, where I was like, wow, I have this sort of unhealthy relationship with money and earning, and feeling like, I don't deserve it, or as soon as I get it, I don't know how to manage it. And so that's been a huge thing. It's an addiction to the mind. It's sort of this disease to, that I'm not enough, like I'll never have enough. So that's 33 years slammed into, a few minutes, but that's sort of like the journey there.